What's going on, guys? I'm Unknown Player here, and in this video we'll be taking a look at this week's challenge of the Elders, so the modifiers and bosses of how to defeat them, and of course my best weapons and loadouts for this week's prison in terms of exotics and most effective items to use. So first we're going to look at the modifiers, and then we're going to go over the bosses and the easiest ways to defeat them. The first modifier is chaff, and this means of course there's no radar, so this can get a little bit disorientating and very weird to get used to when there's no radar. Of course you're used to looking at it to make sure nothing's around you and if any enemies are around you, especially loads of ads, but this time it's going to be disabled, so it's kind of difficult to see what's going around you, but that's something you have to deal with. On top of that, we also have the modifier of Specialist. This means you get a bonus damage for all special weapons, and also on top of that, this means other weapons are going to be decreased in damage. They will do less damage, so a primary weapon and a heavy weapon will do less than normal damage. It's not just the special that gets a buff, the other two actually get dragged down. So be careful if you're using swords or primary weapons a lot, they actually do less damage than normal, and the special weapons get a bonus. So keep that in mind. Special weapons, of course, are going to be your best bet here. So the bonus modifier this time around is for super kills. So of course, any kills you get with a super activated is going to get you bonus points, and that's the way to get your 30k easily as possible and as painlessly as possible. You want to make sure you're using all the supers to get you as many kills as possible, and I'll go over those in just a second. So the bosses this time around are pretty simple. I'm sure by now most of you already know how to defeat them, but I'll go over them real quick. The first one is the Seditious Mine, who is a taken Vex Hydra, and this guy summons these bombs occasionally. Not really too much to worry about. They're very easy to spot and they don't even do too much damage, so just make sure you watch out for those. But the main thing in this arena is actually the Vex. They're very annoying, they shield each other, and they send out lots of tracking darts. They're quite difficult, and especially with no radar, they are for sure something to keep an eye on. Now the next boss is Kexus the Betrayed. This guy is probably the easiest boss of them all. He doesn't really do much damage, to be honest. Just keep your distance from him. Occasionally he's going to summon these bombs which will suppress you if they detonate, but to stop that you stand in them and it will kind of defuse them. But for the most part it's pretty easy. And the next boss is probably the most challenging. Still not difficult at all, but compared to the two before him, he does actually put up quite a fight. Now this guy is Val of Rune, and he's going to summon these flares. There are 3 of them in the room, 1 corresponding for each element, so solar, arc, and void, of course. So on 3 occasions, he's going to get the shield that makes him invincible that corresponds to one of the flares. So if you see him flashing one color, you go and find the flare that matches that color, kill it, and then you'll be able to damage him, and he does that 2 more times for the other 2 flares. The only thing to watch out for is the flares do really stack up, and especially the sirens as well. With no radar, once again, they really can outnumber you very quickly, and the waves get out of hand. So this is probably the most difficult room. Again, not massively difficult, but compared to the other 2, he actually offers up a bit of a fight, so watch out for him, and especially with no radar. So in terms of the actual ideal loadout that I'd recommend for this week's challenge, of course, you guys guessed it, it's going to be Bad Juju. Once again, anytime there's super involved, you obviously want this weapon. It's so incredible at generating super really quickly, and of course killing ads as well, which is what you want to do. Like I always say about this weapon, being able to instantly reload and get all the ammo right back to the magazine after a kill is really nice in PvE. And on top of that, you also get bonus super energy and of course bonus damage after every kill as well. So it's a really good weapon, and I can't recommend it enough. Now in terms of these supers that will get you the most kills and of course the most slaying power, number 1 has got to be Storm Trance for the Warlock. If you can use that, it's going to be the most slaying power you can possibly have, and then get a lot of kills inside it if you're efficient. And if you wait till all the ads group up in one area, then you can wipe them all out. Storm Trance is going to be a really good one. Of course, on top of that, Sunbreaker is going to be really good for this Titan. You can throw a lot of hammers. And for the Hunter, there aren't many good slaying supers. The Blade Dancer is probably the best one you can get, but it's really not that good for PvE. And also the Golden Gun with an Activator for those 4 shots is going to be decent as well. But in general, I'd say one of the Storm Trance, the Sunbreaker, and also possibly a Tether, that'll be really good for the Orbs. I'd say if you're a Hunter, just probably run Tether. You can generate the other supers really quickly, as opposed to trying to use a Blade Dancer or a Golden Gun, which aren't too good in PvE. Now, as a special weapon, the one I use is the Stolen Wheel Shotgun. I got a very good version that I got from farming the Nightfall Strike that I made a video on, and I got on with full auto, which is incredible for this. And like I said, the modifier is Specialist. This means it's going to shred people and absolutely destroy it. This thing is normally a kind of a medium impact, a medium rate of fire, but now with Specialist, it's pretty much a one-shot, and this thing is almost like a high-impact shotgun. It does so much damage, and you can spam the thing and really fire the thing so fast in full auto. So it's an incredible weapon. And if you've got any shotguns that are close in archetype to this Stolen Wheel with full auto, and also the same impact and fire rate, it's going to do really well in these arenas. Normally for Specialists, I'd probably go with a high impact sniper. You guys know me, I love sniping, and I'll probably always use my 1,000-yard stare. There's not really much to snipe in this arena. It's very close quarters, so I'd say shotguns are definitely the way to go. And along those same lines of close quarters, for the heavy, I was using the Dreadfang, which is the Taken Sword, and it also does void damage. Now, 2 out of the 3 waves in this arena are actually taken, so this is going to do bonus damage to them, and definitely one I'd recommend. And of course, it's one of the better close quarters weapons you can use in terms of DPS. Unfortunately, you can't use the exotic Raise Lighter, of course, but the Dreadfang is probably my second best option. So in general, a pretty straightforward week, nothing too crazy and nothing too difficult. Challenge of the Elders isn't difficult anyway, but this one is definitely a very simple set of modifiers, which I like. It's kind of nice to have to simplify things and not have to worry about crazy modifiers that do weird things. The main thing that I found a little bit weird is that most of the time when you pop your super, you of course look at your radar to see how many people are surrounding you, but this time you can't, so you have no idea how many enemies are around. You've really got to look around and try and get some vantage points to see how many enemies are in the area before you pop it, because of course you want to make sure your supers are as efficient as possible, and it can be a little bit difficult when you don't know how many enemies are in the area. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Let me know how you guys are getting on with the challenge of the elders. Are you still running it, or have you got bored of it? I always make sure that I get one run of 30k done on each character so I can get a weapon package. Not really too bothered about the armor, but the weapons are definitely ones I'm after. And also there's various rank up packages, so you can get a Soul Stealer's Claw, which is the auto rifle. That thing, believe it or not, is better than the Doctrine of Passing. So I'm definitely after those packages. The weapons are definitely the main thing keeping me grinding at the moment. Let me know in the comment section how you guys are getting on, what weapons you're after, or maybe you got one recently that you're already happy with. Drop a like rating on the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next one.